Castro, special effects artist, and you are listening to the Movie Raid Show.
It's time for the Movie Raid, and tonight's victim is special effects artist Joe Castro, that has done many films such as Wishmaster 3, Wishmaster 4, oh my god, like tons of things. Hello!
How's it going over there?
Incredibly cold and incredibly miserable, but by God, that's why we have alcohol. So what's going on? What have you been rolling on this month or two, or actually this entire year? What's up?
Oh, wow. Well, I have been really busy with a lot of things, but I'd like to give a couple of shout-outs to some friends before I begin. I want to give a shout-out to my good friend Brink Stevens, who has been working with me for many, many years. She's been in all of my films. And I want to give a shout-out to my friend Thomas Churchill, who I'm currently working with on a really big project. My partner Stephen James Escobar, who has an Emmy for editing. All of us are currently working on a new feature film titled Xenophobia. It's been a while since I've made a feature. It's been about 2.5 years since I've made a feature. So I'm kind of trying to reinvent myself with this new feature film titled Xenophobia. And it's going to go back to all old school practical effects with some digital augmentation. I'm trying to go back to like the original Close Encounters with a little bit of original Star Wars in it. And it's not really a horror movie, even though there may be some horrifying things in it. It's strictly like a science fiction film.
Now, there's a lot of influence within the horror genre, the science. I mean, every genre has their own influence. But do you think there's such thing as a bad influence in horror genre?
Oh, wow. The only thing I have to say about that is somewhere on this planet, someone worships a movie that you hate. Somewhere on this planet, someone wants to burn, a DVD that you have in your collection that you love. And movies either entertain the person who is watching them or they don't. There is no good or bad.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's like when it comes to making the movies, everybody can make a decent horror film. Everybody's influenced by, from other people, but kind of a carbon copy one horror film after another one, and another one becomes that one, and then it sometimes it just becomes a really bad train wreck.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think people think they're being artists and being creative when they're just being plagiarists and copyright infringers. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to say this out loud. There's some amazing special effects artists out there, and there's some amazing sculptors. And if I see one more sculpture of a predator mask online, someone posts trying to get likes for it, I'm going to be sick. It's like, bravo, you did an amazing job copyright infringing on someone else's concept design. It's not original. Why don't you try to do something original for once? That comes with the territory. If you make something good, someone's going to try to make it better, especially if people love what you've done. Someone's going to come along and try to do the same thing. People in this business either want what you have or they'll be happy doing what you've got. They can't have it. It's just the nature of the beast.
Do you think the evolution of horror has actually stopped growing as companies continue to manage other revenues in this genre?
I think that audiences probably are a little smarter than they've ever been. Horror movies are still good. I think they are still very good, and there's a lot of good product out there. I just think there's more people making horror films, and it shouldn't be. How about that? Because it's more easily accessible to actually make movies. When I started making movies, my first feature film was shot on 35mm Panavision. That was done in 1993. At that time, people all over the web, they couldn't make a movie. They couldn't get a Panavision camera. They couldn't buy 35mm film stock. They couldn't even afford to have it developed. And nowadays, that everything's digital and you have these 4K iPhones, everybody thinks they're a director. Basically, I believe the market is just flooded with a lot of nonsense. And it's hard to weed through all the nonsense, get to the good stuff, but there is a lot of good stuff out there. It's just harder to find nowadays because there's more stuff to look through. It's like going on to iTunes and trying to find a good song. There's so much of it. It's almost nearly impossible. Some of these kids, they make a 90-minute movie and they basically give their movie away to one of these distributors and they put it up on Amazon Prime and they see 2 nickels from it and they think they've made a movie. Back in the day, I made a movie called Terror Tunes. It's a franchise, and we have 3 sequels to the original right now. And the first film I made for $2,300, right on the shelf in Blockbuster, right next to Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever big Blockbuster movie had come out that year. It moved 50,000 units in the first 2 weeks. It was the most successful micro-budget movie that year in the home media market and the video stores. Those days are long gone. Can't do that anymore. Blockbuster had 4 copies of it on DVD and 4 copies of it on VHS in every store. And that was just Blockbuster. Then there was Hollywood Video, Best Buy, Walmart, Kmart, and Netflix. And then that doesn't include all the foreign territories. Yeah, making a movie for $2,300 today, people don't care how much you make it for. They just want to be entertained. If it's not care if it's good or bad, they want to be entertained.
Yeah, there's a big difference between filming and then just sticking it on YouTube or the Snapchat or whatever the crap they got going on now, man.
Right.
The thing is,
That's right.
a lot of filmmakers too out there they have the right idea, but having to place their product. Yes, I'm sorry I hate to use the product term, but I mean, you want to make money, you want to get money out of it, but you still want to get your vision out there. But having to do that, a lot of times they'll place it on, like you mentioned, on these websites that simply will just sell for an X amount of dollars. They're just front stores, guys. That's all they are. It's no different than you making merchandise for your band shirts and you're sticking on a cheap looking website just so you can get your fans to buy, a $10 shirt or whatever. That's all it is. You're not going to generate revenue from that one site, man.
I don't really know much about that. I've always had a distributor or had some sort of plan of attack before I go out into the world with my product. But I don't post anything on YouTube. I don't see any way of generating money from that, and I never have. I've never used that. I know there are some of these YouTubers that have advertisements that play on the side of their channel or whatever and generate money, whatever. That's not something that I do. I'm strictly an artist, special effects artist, and a director, and I make features and help other people make their movies. A couple of other things I'd like to talk about. And most people don't know this, but I have the Guinness Book of World Record for the highest body count in a slasher movie. It's a movie titled The Summer of Massacre, and it stars Brink Stephen, Nick Principe from Laid to Rest, and Key Hall, the star of the sci-fi television series Monster Man. All three of them are in the film. I made the film when I was in visual effects school in Burbank, California. So the computer graphics in the film are not up to par. A lot of people would say it's bad, but it's very stylized. It was the most illegally downloaded movie for 2 months in a row when it was first released. We just could not take it down off YouTube fast enough. It would go up every day. People were sharing it everywhere. It got a lot of love and it got a lot of hate because most of the kills in the film are digital. And I was going to school at the time and I was learning digital effects. So I used this new tool to do this huge high body count, and it really worked well. We won so many awards, and then it's had to give us the world record. So I can't complain, even though people give it a lot of lip. Very proud of the movie.
Well, I mean, it's not everybody's taste. I mean, there are such thing as, there's so many like subgenres of the genres within horror. Like, you got gore porn, you got all this other stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's not for everybody. I mean, it's a very, very simple thing. If you don't like it, just shut it off. It's really simple. You don't have to go on all these forums and start, slanderizing, this artist for taking their vision out. I mean, if you don't like how he or she has done this in this particular way, you can simply go to a different genre or a different film that maybe is more your liking, man.
If only we were not human and we could abide by that rule, the world would be a much nicer place, Mike. I do want to talk a little bit about the new Friday the 13th Vengeance movie that I am getting ready to work on set. I want to give a shout out to Don Shell and Jason Brooks for bringing me on the film. Don Shell is one of the executive producers of the film, and Jason Brooks plays Jason in the film. And I really am not at liberty to go into any details about the special effects I'm creating. I just want to say that I am doing one really cool special death for the movie, and I'm going to be helping out on the blood in some of the other scenes in the film. But very honored to be associated in some way with the franchise. It's kind of like a dream come true. Deeply honored for that. I want to put that out there and let everybody know that I'm humble and I'm going to do my very best to ensure that the effects that I make are true to the franchise and are worthy of a Friday 13th kill.
Yes, those guys are awesome, and hopefully I'm so anxious to see this project out there. Like every day, it's like, come on, can we get like one more trailer? Just one more trailer, come on.
Yeah, no, we have a really good group of people working on the film. Should be pretty exciting. Yeah.
Definitely look forward to see more. How long are you on this project for? Like a month or a couple days or weeks?
I see. So I was contacted about a couple months ago to be a part of the project, and I just started creating the special effects this past week. On Tuesday, I'll be up in the middle to the end of March, working on the film, shooting up in Seattle. I'll probably be on set for probably anywhere from 5 to 10 days.
Now, how do you keep yourself recognizable in this particular genre? Now that it's more modernized, now it's more in control, so to speak. I mean, now you got all these extra restrictions and rules and licenses and all this crap. I mean, how do you keep your art recognizable and still keep around in this business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that great artists out there, but the real trick is to be a great team player. And most artists have huge egos, and they don't know how to separate the two. In fact, they don't even have any concept there's a difference. And so what I've managed to do over the years is to go from having this dream or this idea of being this amazing special effects artist to being basically a humble servant to the movies and the people that I work for. And with that attitude, my career has blossomed into what it is today.
ego is terrible when it comes to that, man.
Ego is not my amigo. Yeah, absolutely. And nothing will kill someone's career faster than their ego. I mean, look what happened to that actor from Empire. His ego got in the way of his sanity.
The problem is like, there's a concept, there's ego, but ego is simply the one thing you have to eliminate completely no matter what. Because when you got a big ego like that, first of all, you may be really good at what you do, and everybody sees that, but then when you got that big ego going on, it's not going to go well. You think you're going to have the world. I mean, you can get the world, but that's not how you get it, man. And that's definitely not not from an artistic way either.
I also want to quickly give a shout out to Justin Seaman from The Barn, the director of The Barn. So Justin has honored me the job, the task, the challenge of creating the 3 new villains for the film. They're not new villains, they're the same villains from the previous film, but I'm going to be creating an updated version of them for the sequel, for The Barn 2. And I've been working with Justin now for a little over a month, and I'm definitely going to be a fun one for sure. You got to watch out for The Barn 2. Finish the movie with Michael J. Epstein and his producing crew, titled Half Cocked. It's going to be a really bloody, fun film. I got a couple of Dave Sterling movies coming out this year. Okay, here's my all-time favorite title so far of movies I've worked on. It's called Vampire Campfire. Fun? No? Yes?
Well, that's yeah.
It's called Vampire Campfire.
I have to think about it for a second.
Yeah, it's not the best film, but I love the title, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care how big a movie is. If you're not having fun making the movie, what the hell are you doing? Because people that have fun making movies and they're having fun on set comes through in the actual craft and on screen. And we had a blast making that movie. So many good people on set. Sure, it'll be a movie that comes and goes and no one sees. Or knock on wood, maybe not. Maybe it'll turn into a big cult hit. But it's called Vampire Campfire. I did some pretty bloody stuff in it. It's going to be fun. I would give a shout out to Todd Sheets and his people. Todd honored me with the challenge of creating a female werewolf transformation in Bone Hill Road. I didn't make all the werewolves. I didn't do any of the gore. I strictly did the female werewolf transformation at the end of the film. And fun. It was a lot of fun. And I got a giant new movie family while working with Todd and all his people. And I love working with those guys. We have to talk about Herschel Gordon Lewis. Here it goes. Look, Herschel Gordon Lewis, or H.G. Lewis, as most people know him, is the godfather of gore. And his name needs to never be forgotten. This man is solely responsible for the creation of all slasher splatter movies. He directed a movie titled Blood Feast back in 1963, the first exploited color red blood in the motion picture industry. In fact, at that time, it was so taboo to put red blood in movies that his movie was considered pornographic, even though there was no pornography in the film. He wrote it, directed it, shot it, edited, created all the music for it, and did all the special effects for his movie. Anyways, my point is that every Hollywood slasher movie that's ever been made has borrowed, paid homage to, or directly stolen from his film. He created the storyline of a deranged killer stalks innocent victims one by one, killing each one in a gruesome death, only to be killed by the hands of the hero or the heroine of the movie in the climax of the film in an even more horrific death. Does that storyline sound familiar?
Certainly does.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, you name it, Hellraiser, all of them. We'll need to never forget what that man did for the business. He died 2 years ago. He was one of my good friends. And I had the honor of creating the special effects for the sequel to Blood Feast. Back in 2002, he made a movie titled Blood Feast 2. I think it was called All You Can Eat. Basically, I met him on set, the first time I ever met him on set, in Louisiana, where they were making the film, and I brought all my special effects there to work with him. And we instantly became friends on set. He showed me how to make my gore even gorier. He honored me with the secret formula for his original blood from the original 1963 film. So I am basically the sole person that knows the actual blood formula from the original Blood Feast movie. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take a small bottle of it in like a little flask, kind of like holy water, and bless the set with it when I go to set when I do a bloody scene. I'll let everybody know this is Herschel Gordon Lewis blood to honor that man. That man, it was pure genius. We should never forget what he's done for the industry and all that he brought and shared with everybody. Yeah, so Herschel passed away a little over 2 years ago, and I will never be able to not honor his name and pay homage to him enough for all that he's done for me in my career. You know, if anybody ever wants to reach me, they can reach me. I'm easily found on Facebook. My profile is public. And if you want to reach me, you can give me a shout-out. Send me a personal message. When you friend request me, say hello. Let me know what's going on in your world, and strike up a conversation. I'm easy to talk to, and if anybody wants studio-quality special effects, you know, hit me up. I'd like to work with you. I'd like to work with some fresh, new, young directors that want classic Hollywood special effects in their movies.
There you have it, everybody. Joe Castro.